Yo, 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 can I be heard? Can you guys hear me? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me out there. Last show I did, it was all muted and I didn't know it. I want to make sure everybody can hear me. Can you hear me? Look like everything is good. Look like everything is good. All right, so today's topic, I got a couple topics, but I'm going to start with this Fat Joe situation. But let me start by saying, if any point YouTube shuts my live down, I'm also live on X, all right? Twitter or whatever you want to call it. Because I had to alter a couple videos for copyright issues and stuff like that. I'm trying to do the best I can so I can play these videos. But the first topic is going to be about Fat Joe calling those within the FBA community radicals, racists, and broke niggas. And we're going to get into why he was saying that. A lot of people are not talking about why. They're just talking about what he said, but we're going to get into why he said what he said, all right? Let's go.
Why are the Black Panthers building their own medical center?
Well, first of all, the Black Panther Party, attuned to the needs of black people and other oppressed people, is open a free medical center for the same purpose we open a free breakfast center, free breakfast program. It's to let the people know that we are concerned with their basic needs and desires, and also to educate the people to the fundamentals of socialism, and also to heighten the contradictions within this capitalistic system. When I mean heighten the contradictions, all I'm saying is that just let the people be aware of the fact that the Black Panther Party, an organization which only been existing since 1966, is taking care of people, helping them as far as health care is concerned, and the federal government with all its wealth and resources not doing anything on a major scale,
All right, so before I play this clip of Fat Joe on the Math Hoffa podcast, my expert opinion, I need to explain to y'all what FBA means, right? What FBA stands for. No, it's not an organization. It's not a group. It's not anything radical or anything like that. It's really just a lineage, foundational Black Americans. If you could trace your lineage back to the times of slavery, if your ancestors were slaves or your ancestors was here pre-slavery, you can consider yourself a foundational Black American. You are that, right? Tariq Nasheed is the one who coined that phrase, all right? So I'm going to play this next clip, and I need you to guys understand that there has been some back and forth with Fat Joe, Tariq Nasheed, Lord Jamar, and many other people, because Fat Joe said something to the effect years ago about how hip-hop was created 50-50 Puerto Ricans and Blacks. Tariq Nasheed has done a documentary on the origins and the creators and the pioneers of hip hop called Microphone Check. It's already been out. And what Fat Joe's responding to in this clip is talking about how foundational Black Americans are saying that Puerto Ricans, Jamaicans, nobody but foundational Black Americans were the creators and the originators of hip hop. Later on, they helped influence, or they helped, they were a part of it. They became a part of it a few years after that, all right? So I'm gonna play this clip, and his voice is distorted. He don't really sound like this, okay? But for copyright issues. But I'm gonna play this clip, but when he starts with the rumors and all these other things, that's who he's talking about. That situation dealing with the origins of hip hop. Let's go.
These rumors were made by radical Black racists. Let's just say that, okay? It's a group of these guys that don't want to hear Jamaican, don't want to hear Guyanese, they don't want to hear a Black guy that ain't down with them, right? So their job is to criticize anybody who don't look like them, who ain't Black American.
Who are these guys?
You want me to say a name? We're going to give them too much clout.
I mean,
the FBA, Foundational Black Authority, whoever the fuck these broke niggas is. I'm just keeping it a buck. And that shit is to attack everybody on Twitter. You see this nigga who run them? Like, your leaders, oh man, you gotta be fucking kidding me, man. And so they trying to change the narrative. They're not from New York.
Right.
So they telling a whole nother story. This was whoopity-doop-wop. Yo, bro.
We're gonna get to the whoopity-doop-wop shit that he's talking about. But the whole radical, racist, broke niggas, right? And that's coming from a white Puerto Rican that you hear here, right? And I would say it is partly our fault, foundational Black Americans, because they're the ones digging in the crates is a group that he came out with that stamped him, that allowed this, cracker Rican to continuously say the word nigga. And for him to say it in a derogatory way, you got other dudes in that room who are laughing at it. Now, mind you, it has been pointed out that Mav Hoffa himself, he's not foundational Black American, he's from Barbados. His mother and his father is from Barbados. He was born in America, then he went back at the age of 9, didn't come back until the age of 14, 15. All right, I need you to understand these things. That's why he had that pass to say the shit he said on that podcast. But before we go any further, let's go into what he's really upset about. Microphone Check by Tariq Nasheed, okay? I'm gonna play this clip of him, on his press run, his press tour, talking about this documentary. And it's not just him standing behind the camera, it's just running his mouth. He has actual legends, people who were actually a part of the emergence and the creation of hip hop at that time on his documentary. Let's go.
Who did what, who was the first this, who was the this and that, such. But at the end of the day, we need a definitive story, all right? And that story can only be told by the founders of this culture.
A new documentary reveals the untold history of hip-hop, hoping to dispel misconceptions and shed light on its true creators. It's called Microphone Check, and it was directed by hip-hop historian Tariq Nasheed. And Tariq joins us live in studio to talk about it. Welcome.
Hey, thank you so much.
This looks so good. I can't wait to see it.
Thank you.
What don't we know about the origins of hip-hop?
There's a lot that people don't know. The origin, it really has not been talked about. All of the elements of hip hop, the breakdancing, the graffiti, the rapping, the DJing, nobody.
The feuds.
Right, the beefs. Nobody ever gets into the origins of it. How did this happen? Why did they create this in the Bronx? What made them create this culture that is now a global phenomenon? And that's what we wanted to tackle and talk about in the film.
What's the answer in like 5 words or less? Can you give it
It's
to
a
us?
2-hour and 30-minute film, so it's a lot of stuff to get in.
See it.
You got to see the film.
Did anything about this surprise you while you were making the film? Did you go into it maybe with a misperception of your own?
I learned that they were just so young. They were in the Bronx, and these were like 14, 15-year-old kids creating this culture, and they were doing it to really stay out of trouble. You have to understand the environment in the Bronx in the 1970s. It was gang infested. You had drugs all over the place. It was being marginalized. Some of the resources were being drained out of the Bronx. So these kids, in order to stay out of trouble, they said, hey, let's create something that will keep us in the parks, keep us at the community centers, keep us at the parties, so that we don't get strung out on drugs, so that we don't join gangs. So it was a self-policing mechanism to a certain degree. And that was very interesting to me.
Yeah, that is interesting, especially given the climate now when people are being prosecuted on RICO charges and federal crimes for their lyrics, which kind of reflect that reality, right?
Absolutely.
So who did you talk to? Who do we see in the film?
We got all the original pioneers. We got the first female rapper, is a sister named Shy Rock, phenomenal young lady, one of the first people to rap over records, which was a guy named DJ Hollywood, who was very influential. We got the first break dancer, a gentleman by the name of Trixie. So we got a lot of the original pioneers. The person who created modern graffiti, a gentleman by the name of Cornbread. So we had them come along and tell their story because nobody was before them. So we wanted to find out what motivated them to create certain things that they did as far as the art of hip hop.
That's so interesting. We talked about beefs a little bit. Of course, we know Kendrick Lamar and Drake. That's kind of the famous current one. But of course, there was Biggie and Tupac. And this is kind of a long tradition within the genre. So talk a little bit about what you learned about that.
In our film, Microphone Check, we have a gentleman by the name of Busy B. And Busy B, old school rapper, he was one of the first people to get involved in what's now called a viral beef with a guy named Kool Moe Dee. The reason why their rap beef was so significant, it happened in 1981. This was the first time where rappers were using personal insults against each other. Usually rappers would just rap about general things. It would be crowd motivation. That particular battle, they were talking about each other personally, and that was the birth of diss records. And diss records, that's become a phenomenon within itself, like the beef with Drake and Kendrick Lamar. The #1 record right now is a diss record by Kendrick Lamar. So there's a long tradition to that. And now we have battle rap competitions that's all over the world, and it's a phenomenon within itself.
Does that say something about us too as an audience, that we want to kind of go into a silo and pick a side and have some sort of controversy?
It's competitive, just like boxing. It's a sport.
Yeah.
And when you have these rap beefs and these rap battles, you have to step your lyricism game up. You have to be witty. You have to be more intricate with your words. You have to be more thoughtful. So it's a very competitive sport.
And of course, we know that hip hop has influenced culture so much in this country. We have the fashion, the movies, the lifestyle, all of it. Is there anything that it's influenced? Also music, all kinds of music. But what kind of influences do we not really see, or do we not know about? Maybe don't realize that we're seeing.
I think hip hop has not only influenced music and culture, also the education system. A lot of schools, they incorporate hip hop within the curriculum. It's influenced a lot of things. I mean, hip hop is being taught at universities now. They're studying like Tupac's lyrics and things of that nature. So you have a lot of these think tanks and corporate entities. They study what the hip hop community is doing so they can tailor their brands to that. Because again, hip hop is a big moneymaker now. It's a huge financial phenomenon, just not with the record industry, but with the fashion industry. You have alcohol companies utilizing hip hop. So it's a huge thing.
And there's a lot of crossover.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, we are out of time. I can't wait to see this. Tell us how we can see it and how we can find out more about it.
Yes, indeed. Go to microphonecheck.com. We are doing another theatrical run. We had a Memorial Day theatrical run, and it was phenomenal. So we're getting it back in theaters. So you got to see this film, phenomenal film. Go to microphonecheck.com for more information.
All right, so let's get back to Fat Joe, because this next clip, he said something to the effect of how he had conversations with the pioneers and the originators of hip hop, right? But he told a lie. He lied on somebody. He lied on somebody specifically. And I don't know if he didn't see his past interviews or what, but I'm gonna show you what Fat Joe says, and pay attention to the names he drops. And then I'm gonna play a clip right after that. Let's go.
But you trying to tell us what happened over here. All the legends I know, when I go to the legendary shit, they're all black and Puerto Rican. Yeah. And I sit there with them and I'm like, and they don't believe it. They don't understand. They don't understand, like, that talk. They're like, yo, what the is this about? Like, they're confused. The pioneers, the Grandmaster Flashes, the Cool Hercs, the Melly Mel's, and this. They're like, yo, we don't know what the these people talking about.
Don't know what they're talking about, huh? I know what Grandmaster Flash is talking about. And when he did his episode on Drink Champs, he came prepared with receipts and a list that totally debunks what Fat Joe just said and lied on that man about. Let's go. You can see for yourself. See it for yourself.
You know, let's go to the break dancers, see DJs, the breakers. The breakers, like the original breakers were, they were black. And here's some of the names. Sasa, Trixie, Dancing Doug, Black Jerry, Easy Mike, Flippin' Mike, female breakdancers, Sister Boo, Mother Earth, Janice. Then, as years went on, is where the Latins got involved, Spanish people got involved.
So that's why I say I was confused. Did he not watch Grandmaster Flash on Drink Champs? I mean, one of the biggest podcasts in the world. Did he not watch this legend who he name drops and says, I talked to them, they don't know what Tariq Nasheed and them is talking about. Come on, man. And look, hear from a Puerto Rican himself who was actually there. I don't know if you ever heard of this Puerto Rican rapper, Ruby D. All right? But he was there during the beginnings of it, shortly after. Listen to what he has to say on Lord Jamar's podcast. Let's go.
This is gonna
1978. Yeah. What year did you get into did you start rapping, Ruby D?
Late 76, early 77.
76, 77. Mm-hmm.
The Furious Five were still the three MCs.
So if we go by the timeline of 73 and y'all is the first Puerto Ricans, that means that hip hop was going for at least 3 years before any Puerto Ricans touched the hip hop soil, correct?
Pretty much.
Correct.
So, according to Fat Joe, you're radical, you're racist, and you're a broke nigga for trying to protect the true history of your culture and everything that your culture has created. Black culture created hip hop. We're responsible for that. My lineage is responsible for that. People who share my lineage and my history are responsible for that. And it's okay. You were a contributor. Puerto Ricans contributed at some point. Jamaicans contributed at some point. But how is it disrespectful to say, yo, hey, this thing right here, we started that, man. And we appreciate you guys for being because Puerto Ricans are coined for being one of the first to be a contributor, to be involved in it, to get down with it. Because at that time, the Bronx, man, it was divided. It wasn't cool for Puerto Ricans to hang with blacks and blacks to hang with Puerto Ricans. So how could you ever believe that something that foundational Black Americans created, Puerto Ricans were automatically attached to it just because they lived in the vicinity of foundational Black Americans? It doesn't make sense. Because guess who else lived in the vicinity of the foundational Black Americans that created hip hop? Italians, Jews. I mean, they ain't crying about not being a part of it because they weren't, and they knew they wasn't. So in the first clip I played of Fat Joe, he was talking about like how, they were trying to go all the way back to the boppity doo bop and all these other things, saying how hip hop really predated 1973. How breakdancing actually predated 1973. Because, for the longest they've been saying Puerto Ricans are the one that brought breakdancing to hip hop. That's not true. Check this out, 1930. In the 1930s from the Mills Brothers. I'm going to play this. Check this out. See if you see anything familiar. What that look like? What does that look like? Foundational Black Americans. Foundational Black Americans, man. So that's the question, right? When will we start protecting our culture from outsiders? And when will we stop being unapologetic for those who try to write themselves in our history as a contributor, or as, no, not even a contributor, as a creator, right? When are we going to stop apologizing? And when are we going to stop being called things like that? Cracker Rican, Fat Joe, tried to call us. And he's catching a lot of heat from it. And one of the things that pissed me off with Mav Hoffa is like, I understand, people saying like, yo, why can't we all just be together, man? Why should it matter where this person is from and that person is from? It don't matter where the person is from. But you got to understand something here, partner. All you people who are coming from different continents that look like us and come here, it does not mean that you have the same rights and entitlements that we have. Foundational Black Americans, key word, foundational. If your folks moved here and you only 2-3 generations deep, and let's say they start handing out let's just say in the perfect word, for whatever reason, they start handing out reparations. They say, okay, we're going to give, the African-American community reparations. You Negroes are not going to stand and get out of the line and say, oh, no, we're only 2-3 generations deep. Our ancestors don't go back to slavery in the continent of North America. So no, don't give us nothing. No, you motherfuckers going to be right there in line, soaking up and eating. You wouldn't have the common decency to say, no, that's not for us, yo. That's for them. Let them have that. Their ancestors are foundational Black Americans. Let them have that. No. And that's the problem. The lines are blurred. So yes, we do have to say, hey, you're from over there. It's cool, but just know you're from over there. You're not from here. You're not of this. But we can be cool. We can work with one another, but don't get it twisted and don't be disrespectful. Don't work against us. Don't think you better than us like some of them do. They come over here and they look down on us. It's just different things, right? But I'm going to get to this next topic. And it's about, it's something that Hawk Newsome brought to my attention on Instagram. It's about this Marcy Correctional Facility in Oneida County, New York. Robert Brooks, 43 years old, is beaten while handcuffed in a medical exam room on December 9th, and he died the next day. He was beaten by, they say now it's more than 13 correctional officers and a nurse who's implicated in the attack are supposed to face termination, according to Governor Kathy Hochul, who says she was outraged and horrified of this senseless killing. All right. Now, I'm going to have a question after I play this. But, I'm, warning, it is graphic. All right. Here we go. Look at this shit, man. Them of a laughing. Laughing. All right, so I'm going to play this post. Let me turn this down real quick. I'm going to play this post. I'm going to show this post by Hawk Newsome. All right. This is what he put. This is what he put under the video that he posted that you just watched. He said, word to my mother, stop tagging these activist niggas in my posts. Tag yourself. Why the F you always want someone else to do something? Stop acting like suckers. If someone slap your brother on your block, you ain't calling Crump, you calling the crew. And then he lists all of the COs, officers, sergeants, or whatever, the nurse, who were involved in this. All right? So that's what said. Leads me to my question. Will we ever have black vigilantes? Shout out to Luigi, man. Shout out to Luigi handling business. And, allegedly. Will we ever have black vigilantes, or are we going to keep depending on ambulance chasers for justice? Right? Do the typical same old, protests, marches, all these things, interviews, crying, may get a little settlement. In my opinion, is never enough compared to how, and why our people, that person's life is taken by those who are supposed to protect and serve. It ain't just going with your regular day. You may get a day, you may get a little bill, but then at the end of the day, you move on with your life. But nobody really gets justice. Because when you get that big settlement, that's coming from the taxpayers. A lot of taxpayers who had nothing to do with that. They weren't responsible for that. Your money. Some of that money is your money that they're giving back to you, right? I just wonder, it'd be cool to have, a Batman with some melanin, somebody, I don't know. It's just a question, though. Will we ever have black vigilantes, or will we keep looking for ambulance chasers for justice? I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments, though. Let me know in the comments. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this, man, with Fat Joe, the white Puerto Rican who feels very comfortable to call people in the FBA community radicals, racists, and broke niggas. Boy, that motherfucker said that shit on a black podcast. That's crazy. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. Y'all have a great weekend, all right? Till then, peace.
The forgotten part of my fellow citizens. It is strong. It's my duty to report
the true problems of our nation.
We've vigorously developed this resource to be of great benefit.
Where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause.
I will be eternally grateful for your support.